Hello. It's been a while. Finally have a moment to sit down and make another video. Um, and I was thinking, so I mentioned last time that I want to talk about my first time I had a out of body experience, and kind of what goes before that is my kind of like how I started to realize, or when I okay, how I became spiritual really. So I kind of started becoming a little bit spiritual because of certain events. And then I had my out of body experience, and that's when I was kind of pretty much convinced, okay, there's more, right, to this world, to what our eyes and our senses see and hear, feel, all of it. So, yeah, and what happened was, well, first of all, when I was a kid, already things were weird. So, like, I could kind of I would just little things like I would know in advance, no big major stuff. I mean, I was a kid, I didn't really have a concept of what life is, what a future is, how all this works, right? So, yeah, so I didn't have any major moments or anything, but just my everyday life stuff, I would always kind of know when certain mail would be in the mailbox or what song would be coming on the radio. Um, just I would kind of know the future in certain ways. But it kind of went away, I would say, around probably after I was 11, 10, 11-ish, something like that. Once I turned 12 or so, I don't think I had the abilities anymore. I don't know what caused it to go away, but it just went away. And then, oh, a theory that I do have is, how I grew up in East Berlin. And I think other people have told me this too. This is not necessarily just due to communism, but they would give us these little red fluoride pills that we had to chew every morning to make sure we don't get cavities, whatever. And so I wonder also if that over the years, when we ate, I don't know how many years I had to eat those freaking pills. But if that also had something to do with the capability of losing the capability of kind of seeing what's happening in the future and stuff. Anyways, like I said, was nothing major. So then years went by and I didn't really think about anything like that. I also had crazy deja vu at the time, but that also went away at the same time as all of that went away. So I really didn't think about this type of things anymore. I became a teenager, And then my best friend killed himself in 1996. And what happened was, back in the day, we didn't have cell phones yet, so at least not where I was in Berlin at the time. And we finally did have a home phone in the hallway. And my friends had called me on the line, and I was answering the phone. And they were telling me that my friend took off and he left a backpack with lots of goodbye notes. And so they knew that he's going to kill himself. But he was on a bicycle, so they kind of lost track of him after he dropped off the backpack, so he couldn't find him. And so he called me and asked if he was with me. And I said, no, I haven't heard from him in days, no idea, right? Where he's at. So I hung up the phone and I went back into the living room and watched TV, so I thought. And then years later, I had a conversation with my dad about this moment, and he was like, "No, you totally lost it. You didn't just sit down and watch TV. You lost it, and you said he's dead, he's dead, he's dead." Well, then I also found out during the time that they actually called me, that's the time he jumped from a building. That's when he jumped. About that time, that's what they figured. So, which was a weird coincidence, right, that they had talked to me during the time that he jumped. And but yeah, so I knew he was dead, but I had no recollection of knowing, right? Like that I knew that he was dead, until my dad told me later that I had that moment where I was already saying he's dead, like I know he's dead. So I thought that was weird. And then there were also some weird things after he died, where I also started thinking about maybe there's something like afterlife, like maybe ghosts or things like that. So he had, for my 15th birthday, so a year prior, almost a year prior, gave me a blow up cat, and he blew it up himself. So I could never bring myself to like deflate the cat, because it was like this last thing of him when he was alive, like his breath was in there, right? And anyway, so I had it on top of a closet, and my bed was like the same height. So my parents built me like this high bed, and so I was like on eye level with the cat. And we just had physics and stuff, and so they taught us, right, like when the air is warm, it expands. When it's cold, like it comes together. So anyways, the head was kind of big, and then it had like a thinner neck and then a bigger body. Anyway, so sometimes I would look at the cat, and then like the head was like way down, right? And I was like, that seemed awkward. I mean, there wasn't a big temperature change in the room, and it was very strange. And sometimes it was just a little bit, and I was like, okay, that could be part of, because of physics and stuff, whatever. But when the head was just hanging down crazy low, I was like, there's just something weird with that. And then it would stand up again, you know? And then there were also like, my dreams were very strange. Like I would not literally dream of him, but like as if he was communicating with me or something. I cannot really describe it, but there were lots of other little things here and there, always moments where I always like, strange. But again, like I said before, I didn't grow up religious. I grew up without God and all of that, because communism, and my parents are not spiritual or religious, nobody in my family. And so I was never exposed to any of it. And every time you would talk to my dad about things like that, he's the most logical, rational person, so he always had like an answer for everything, right? So I kind of was like, brushed it off, and I was like, okay, whatever. But then one day, I got introduced to this guy, and when we shook hands, in that moment, I knew that he was the one, right? So I thought. Anyways, like, things developed and whatever, and we ended up kissing one day. And when we kissed, this is when I had my first out-of-body experience. So we kissed, and it's not like I saw what was happening below me or anything, or like, but all of a sudden I was in the universe. I could only see stars all around. And I had the knowing that I am in the universe, right? I didn't see any planets or anything. And the stars were also far away. It wasn't like I saw like comets, or it was just black, and I saw like the stars, the lights of the stars. And I knew I'm not inside of my body anymore, and I am in the universe. Clearly knew that. And then it took like a while, and all of a sudden I was back in my body. But yeah, I didn't have it to like where some people say, right, they were floating over their body and they saw what's happening, or nothing like that. It was literally just all of a sudden, I was gone, I was in space, and then I came back. And for years and years, I was looking this up. I was like, what does this mean? Like, when you kiss somebody and then you have an out-of-body experience, right? I could never find anything ever. And then probably a few years ago, for the first time, I found somebody commenting who had the same experience, but they actually did see the moon and stuff. So they actually were in space where they could see planets, or moons. But that's the only time I ever heard anyone else talk about this. So if any of you had an experience like this, please let me know. Like, for years, I mean, that happened in 2000 or 2001, I think, so forever ago. And yeah, I've never met anyone else who had experienced this, and it'd be really interesting if there's more people out there and what you guys think what it means. So to me, first of all, of course, it meant like we are meant to be together, right? Like he's the one, like that's what it must mean. But then also that's when I really was like, okay, I'm spiritual now. Like my, I mean, my soul, my mind, my energy, whatever you want to call it, it did leave my body. I was in the universe. Nobody can deny that from me, like, or take it away from me. I know exactly what happened. And so that's the moment when I was really becoming spiritual and starting to believe in like multi dimensions, parallel universes, ghosts, not so much angels and stuff, which I'm actually just now starting to believe in all of basically everything. I'm feeling like I'm starting to believe like in fairies and like dragons, unicorn, like everything that has ever been recorded in history by people. I'm starting to believe that's real. It's just that how I had mentioned before in some of the other videos, we cannot see it due to the frequency, right, that we're vibrating at right now. So I think if it were tuned, we'll be able to see all that stuff. Like I saw that shadow in my apartment, right, when I was living in that weird place where the energy was very different. So I think it's totally normal to have these beings, or we call them beings, but I think they're always all around. We just don't see them. They're just in different planes or levels, dimensions. We don't see them. Yes, I started believing in all of those things. And then, yeah, afterwards, years and years later, those other previous stories I was talking about, right, where my best friend came to see me in my dream, and then I had those other dead women talk to me or gave me messages. So, yeah, so then I guess that moment kind of opened me up for more and more to come down the road. Yeah, and then regarding the one, I think we all kind of, maybe I think most of us, anyways, have that kind of belief or that feeling that there's the one out there, which on a metaphysical level, I think that's correct to say, or I'm really curious about how it works. So if we are all one energy connected to each other, right? Like we're all coming from the same thing, a light source, energy, whatever you want to call it. How do we have like this special connection with like this one person, right? And there's not just one out there in life. There's multiple, depending on who you are, like how lucky you are, I guess. But how does that work if we're all coming from the same thing? But then, oh my gosh, I've been getting into so many things over the last few weeks since all of this happened. So like I'm kind of like looking into like how magic works, and yeah, I'm kind of like open to all of the energy, vibration, all of that kind of stuff. And so I'm running down like a lot of paths. And like one thing that I came across was that the universe, that's how they explain what all of this is that the universe is like, it realized it is like I am. And by realizing that it is, it kind of like expanded itself and created us basically, like, or it sounded more like not that necessarily created us as in that sense, but like by it realizing that it's alive, or the I am, the energy started getting higher and higher, and the vibration higher and higher, and by doing that, things started to form and create. And so yeah, I'm still in a way kind of trying to figure out, do I believe in that? Do I mean, the way it's all described, it really makes a lot of sense. But yeah, then how does it work? So is it because we were created within the mind of the I am, the universe, the God, whatever you want to call it? But then sometimes we have like paths with like these people, Who knows if we are always humans? Probably not. And then doing that, we recognize each other again if we're like on the same plane one day again. I don't know. Anyways, I'm just, yeah, I haven't done a video in so long, so now I'm just like a waterfall. So yeah, I've been wondering about what the one means, like how are we have the special connection to certain people in life. Anyways, so yeah, with this guy, lots of weird things happened. Like we had like such strange coincidences and would always kind of like run into each other when we weren't really talking, and like as if like the universe, the whatever, or it was kind of meant to be for us to always be together. Like, yeah, we have to see each other if we're like, it always reminded us that, hey, you guys are still here, right? Very strange. But in the end, like, it's been like a 20-year thing going on and nothing happened, nothing came out of it. We didn't end up together, and we're like in no talking and whatever. Like, I don't think it will ever be together. It's not meant to be. But yeah, still, I think there's definitely something special to that relationship. And maybe it was only for me to have that out of body experience, and then for it to pave the way for me to become a spiritual person, you know, kind of like awakening me. Maybe that's what it was all for. But yeah, so that's really how I became spiritual, and my out of body experience that I had. I feel like it's strange. So I don't know if it's because of all the Mandela effects happening and things changing so much, that also our memories are a little bit affected, because I feel like I actually not too long ago, maybe 6 months ago or something, that I had another out of body experience, and I wanted to talk about it, but I can't remember it anymore. I cannot remember what it was, when and how it happened. Very strange. So now I'm not sure if I did have another one or not. But yeah, that's really it. I haven't really noticed any big changes lately, talking about Mandela effects. One thing though, I have a tiny dog, right? A Chihuahua mix or whatever. And he always had like this naked chest. He's 6 years old now, always naked for 6 years. And all of a sudden now he has fur, and it's like white fur and stuff. And I was like, what the heck? So you can clearly see and know that, like some other people have mentioned their wife being shorter. So there's definitely physical changes that you can even tell with your family, your animals, with the Mandela effect, which is crazy. Or myself, right? How I have like this weird shadow here that I made a video about on the skull now. Just crazy stuff. But yeah, other than that, I haven't really noticed personally any changes since, I think 2 weeks ago or whatever. I feel like it was like daily. And then since I have noticed his fur change, I think that's the last thing that I have noticed changing. So, and that's probably been over a week ago. Yeah, I haven't really experienced any MEs right now. Not sure how everybody else is doing, if you're still having them daily. I think like we are experiencing different timelines at different times. So we're not, I'm noticing that more and more, because we have so many MEs, but we are not syncing up on them with so many people, that we must be on some different timelines. One comment I saw in an ME group was where somebody had said that all of like the Europe and all these continents were kind of like merged together in their memory. Like I think England was on like already connected, and everything was more one, right? And I was like, whoa, you're like from a more futuristic timeline based on what I'm thinking is actually happening here, that Pangea or whatever it's called, that we're all becoming one plateau again, like one big continent. but yeah, somebody mentioned that they had a memory of that. So, oh my God, yeah, it's Friday night, so I cannot get my brain wrapped around all of these theories now. What could be causing it? It's too late for that in the week and everything. And been working since 7:30 today. So, yeah, but I think that is really a point that in trying to figure out what Mandela effect is keeping that in mind, is that people are experiencing different MEs. And I think the world map is really a good indicator because, and maybe as ME people, like the people that experience it, maybe we really need to start paying close attention to the map. Because I notice how people describe how they've seen the map, and it's totally different from what I know, from what it is now. And so I think there's something to it that for some reason we're coming from all different kinds of timelines, dimensions, parallel universes, I don't know. I just wish I had the answer to this all. I just want to know. I'm so curious. I just wish I would find out what it is. So yeah, what I've started doing, I bought like a laminated map, just a small one about this big. And so every day I'm measuring a couple of cities distances. So like New York to London, London to Berlin, and then a place in Brazil to Africa. Kind of like to see if anything changes. And only one thing changed for a tiny, like 1 millimeter, half a millimeter actually. So I probably can discount that. It's probably not legit. It might have been measurement error. So it's not dominant enough. And I haven't really noticed any other changes, like just looking at the map right now. So yeah, anyway, so that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of measuring. Maybe a lot more of you guys are doing the same thing. Would be cool to know if you guys do that too. But yeah, that's really it right now. I have to look at what else I wanted to talk about. Maybe I can make a video tomorrow again too. Not sure. But yeah, I'm gonna cut it shorter today a little bit. Yeah, really what I wanted to talk about. And let me know if you guys ever had a out of body experience while kissing somebody. And if it was similar to what I had, or if you had another kind of experience, be interesting. I love to read the comments below. Well, yeah, so that's it for now. And oh, one more thing. I'm also, I'm like a designer, artist, whatever. So I was thinking of on threadless.com to create some Mandela residue artwork, like of things how I remember them. So on my weekends that I kind of like design some of the things, or even I kind of don't really want to take images off the internet and then just use that as my art, because that's technically stealing, copyright rules. So but what I can do is like recreate it based on the residue images. So I might do something like that for like some t-shirts and stuff when I get some time. And if I do have something, I'll let you guys know if you want to check it out. But yeah, I would have to work on it tomorrow and Sunday and stuff. I was thinking of like the Union Jack flag, how I remember it, and maybe even the outline of America, if I ever have like a good template of that, North and South and stuff like that. So I thought it would be fun. Yeah, well, okay, that's it. Almost 30 minutes again. I hope you're all doing good. It's the weekend. Yes, so ready for it. And yeah, hope everybody's doing well. And yeah, have a good day, good night. Bye.